Hello, and thank you for joining us in our podcast called The Growth Journey. This is a place where you will start your personal growth and development. I'm glad you're here. I am your host, Cheryl Hart. So, part of your growth journey is to do something that you have never done before and something that you may have not thought of doing or something that you are afraid to do. Afraid in a sense of because either you have never done it before or it's a new to you, right? And it's out of your comfort zone or something have happened previously and you do not want to do it again based on that experience that you had. Traveling alone or a solo travel is many people are aspired to do. But for some reason, they haven't got a chance to do it either because of the timing. Financially, maybe they cannot afford yet to travel alone, or in a sense of just travel, or simply they are scared to travel alone. I was curious to know on how many people have traveled by themselves and if there is a demand for this. So I have found an article called Solo Travel World Data Statistics. And let me read this to you, and it's quite interesting. And I will share it with you the data and what they said about traveling solo. So here we go. So solo female travel grew by 52% and it continues the uptick more than men. And it is 47% of those travelers they travel overseas. Solo traveler as a global trend continues to grow and making up around 18% of global bookings, and solo travel is becoming more popular. And here, check this out. Generation Z, who are the younger one now in a workforce, Generation Z who are born mid or late 1990s, their preference is to travel alone, and 20% of those Generation Z says they want to take solo backpacking trip or a gap year. 80% of millennial or young professional who travels are going solo, and that's quite a bit for them, right? And which means that this young professional would like to do it alone. And travel solo for relaxation is the number one motivator for solo leisure travel globally, which is understandable. Everybody wants to be relaxed and forget about their problems back home or their work. They just want to get out and enjoy the view and have some awesome time with their friends or family. Or maybe since this is a travel solo, they want to enjoy it by themselves. And 38% of those who have traveled solo will do it again. And for baby boomers, there are increase in traveling solo in that field. And finally, roughly one in four people say they will travel solo again next year. So as you can see, no matter what age group a person is, it seems majority would like or would prefer to travel solo. So knowing this, there is a huge demand and great opportunities to travel agencies out there to come up with a business strategy or business plan or a package deals, if you can, that will cater more to those who are traveling alone. And there are times it costs more to travel alone than when you have someone with you. Yeah. So let's take for example, when you want to go on a cruise on your own, it is rare that you will see a price on a stateroom, for example, for one person. It's always assumed that there's two guests in a stateroom. So you are then required to bring in someone with you. So instead of paying, say you have 6 nights cruise in the Eastern Caribbean, you will pay around $1,400, $1,500 roughly when you are alone. But if you have when you have someone with you, it's about $750, so half of that price per person. So think about it. Therefore, if this is, a good opportunity to change this and create something for solo travelers to those travel agency out there. So yes, if you are in travel business or travel industry, this is something that you need to look out for and create to have something, to those packages available for those solo travelers. And so now let's take a look at what other people perspective or what they think about traveling alone. So there are times for me I try to get other people's perspective. And I think it is important for me to understand more about the subject in the eyes of other people. So sometimes I think I know, but I would like to confirm and be certain about those things, and I need help to validate it, what I know of. So since I have been taught by my mentor, John Maxwell, that to get a better answers, ask great questions. And because only through better questions you will get better answers. So it's important to ask good questions. So a few weeks ago in my Facebook page, I posed a questions to those who have been traveling alone, and luckily, our friends, our connections in Facebook friends, they are really willing enough to share the experiences and their input about when they do travel alone. So here are the 3 questions that I asked them and I post in my Facebook page. So number 1 is, what did you like or didn't like about traveling alone? Number 2, what have you experienced throughout this journey? And number 3 is, what advice would you give to someone who have never traveled alone before? So we have had some great interactions in that post, and many of our friends in Facebook have shared their experiences. So I wish I could put them all here, but I decided to just summarize them and take those key points. So first up is our friend Mike Walton have said, I love traveling alone because I am free and can do whatever I want or need to do with nobody holding me up or complaining about. I even look forward to my layovers, which gives me time to wander around the airport shops, sit down and grab some food and have a drink. And he continued on and said, I have experienced freedom and meeting many nice people in the airport, on the plane, or at my destination. And Mike advice to those who have never traveled alone before is to just go for it, either by boat, plane, or train. Make sure you do your own research of the city or the country you're going to. So in this exercise, I have noticed that there are some similarities of words, such as, and have a sense of independence, freedom, and meeting new people when traveling alone. So it's kind of nice that we are all picking and choosing in how we feel when we travel alone or travel by ourselves. So those are the words, independence. You have the sense of that, and the freedom, especially meeting new people. Those are the similarities of the words. And Nick Jesus have agreed and have said the same thing. Real Boss, perhaps this is his screen name. I have to ask him about that. But Real Boss have shared a great land of experience when he did travel to other countries and meeting new people, experience new culture. Although it was great and all, but Real Boss advised that your safety should be your number 1 priority, and you have to do your research before you go to new places. And be polite to strangers, especially if you are not from around there. If you are traveling from other country, you have to let at least one person to know back home where you are going, and write down the emergency contact information in your wallet. In case you have taken to the hospital, something might have happened to you, at least someone back home can take a message and they know where you at and they need to go, when to get to pick you up or what have you. So make sure that you write down the emergency contact in your wallet, okay? And also Real Boss have shared many of his experiences while he was traveling, and there are some things that he pointed out that there's some things that you have control of, right? There's many things in our life, and even especially if we are out and about and we are not at home, there's some things that we cannot control of, and what we can only do is to do the things that we can control, in which one of those things is to make sure that your own safety, make your safety as your main priority. Okay. And Heather have said, you get to run your own schedule. Always meet fellow travelers, and if you start in hostels, you can gain more cultural experiences and never feel lonely. But mostly it makes you more spontaneous person, which is very exciting for them. And Stefan Williamson have said he's been traveling for 70% of his life, and mostly are for business related. And he had shared that when traveling for work, your company will taking care of the inconvenience and safety concern, because many big companies have their own travel agency who provide these services exclusive to those employees. And what I've learned from here is, when you do travel, so it's been 7 years now, I've been traveling constantly. And what I've learned from this journey is to make sure that you pack your luggage very light. And our friend Juan Morales agreed on this as well, to learn how to light packing, and also the best time to catch up, with yourself. And regarding the light packing, okay, I kid you not, I used to pack like probably 5 shoes in my luggage in my 3 days trip, but only uses two of them, right? So it's a waste of space, and and your luggage will be more heavy than it shouldn't be. So it doesn't make sense to pack all of it and then you're only using a few items. So, make sure you pack the essentials one, and you have an extra, but not to the point that you're taking all the wardrobe that you have and put it all in your luggage. So, as you move along, as you travel more, you will learn how you do light packing. So, you will learn that in a long way. But also, there are many tips you can search on and to know more about traveling, especially going to the security check in airport, TSA, and global entry and clear. Now we have that in airports here in the US. I'm not sure in other countries, but you feel free to check it out, how your security checkpoint in the airport allowed or not allowed to bring in to the airport or to the plane. So make sure you do your research for that as well. So do your research when planning to travel, and if you are traveling outside of your country, also make sure that to check if they require a visa in order for you to enter to those countries, in a valid passport especially, right? So let me since we were talking about visa here, I think a couple years ago, my brother and I went to Australia. So from Chicago, we going to Australia. I have a speaking engagement there with my colleague, and we decided to go in Australia. So both pleasure and for business. So to me, visa is really important, because that time I forgot to check on Australia if they require visa. Okay, so I was in the airport already. I have my luggage. I'm very excited. I'm gonna go to the counter, get my boarding pass, because for some reason, I couldn't remember if I will be able to do that in my phone. But I think I have to go to the to the counter to get my boarding pass. And she asked me, "Well, where's your visa? Do you have your visa?" I was like, "What visa?" I have my face, like questioning, what visa for what? I have my pass. I have a U.S. passport. I don't need visa. No, you do need one. And so she let me to step in the side, so she can help out the other customers. So she just gave me the link of the website where I can go in and get my visa. So it was fascinating, because I was like, I don't want to miss my flight, because this is like a 20-hour flight, and I don't want to lose that. So I was, really afraid that at some point, and so I went ahead and checked out the website and see how long it takes to get my visa. So good thing, it's not that too long. And I was very relieved that I paid, probably $50. I couldn't remember how much it was, probably $50. And and then the next 5 minutes that I get the visa. So I'm very fortunate that I get a visa right there and there for 5 minutes. But I don't think all countries are like that. So don't wait at the last minute, especially if you are in the airport. I was lucky that I was able to do that. And going to Australia from US to there, it was, it's kind of smooth. But other countries, it probably take a little longer than that. So yeah, make sure that you check on the visa, and your passport should be valid passports, not expired passports. So make sure you check those. So those are the big ones that you have to take a look. And if you were going to different countries. So right now, so far, we touched on the solo travelers data statistics, and also have shared experiences from our friends in Facebook with their perspectives and tips on traveling alone. So now let's talk about what are the reasons. What are reasons why people traveling solo? At least once in their lifetime, right? What are the reasons why people traveling solo? And there are many reasons why people travel solo, and I have selected a few of them that I think will be good for you to think about. Okay, so number one is you'll become more creative. Yes, you'll be more creative. And the second one is it'll force you to be a problem solver. It's like mine. I know the visa at that time, that example I provided to you earlier, but going to Australia and then I forgot to get my visa. And okay, you just have to calm down, right? Do what you have to do. Don't freak out. Just calm down and get into the task that you are meant to do, and just do it. So there are many instances that you will face on when you are out there, and when you are out in the airport or in a country. So you're gonna learn how to deal with it and become a problem solver along the way. Okay, so you will become more comfortable in your skin when you do travel solo, because of the sense of your freedom and independence. It builds up your self-confidence if you do that, if you are more comfortable in your skin. So if you want to build up your self-confidence, travel more by yourself. Travel more by yourself if you want to build up your self-confidence and become comfortable who you are and in your skin, right? And the fourth one is you'll get better at putting yourself out there. You get better at putting yourself out there, and also you can say goodbye to your comfort zone, because this is big deal. If you were traveling solo for the first time, that's a big deal, and you're leaving your comfort zone what you were normally known. That the normal things that you do, you're gonna leave that behind, and you're stepping on the unknown sometimes, right? And you set your own schedule, and you do not have to wait for anyone. That's a problem too when you are traveling with other people. They have to wait for their schedule, especially in a group. You're gonna wait for that, but for you, no, you just go in, wherever you want to go, you go, right? And you also have your own agenda, and you'll catch up the travel bug for life when you start doing it, especially when you started to see places, new places, great places for the first time, especially when you experience other countries and you then would like to see more. You become addicted to it. And it's a big world actually that we live in many ways. So why not go to different places every time you travel? And there are a lot of places that you can explore to. And so when you experience once and then you like it, you enjoy it, now you can, I want to do it again. Remember in our data statistic earlier that when those people who experience to travel solo, many of them would like to do it again, because they catch that travel bug and they want to explore different places. Okay, and your self-awareness will skyrocket. It will make you brave, and it teach you to become independent. Again, that's similar words again. Dependence, freedom. You learn to love being alone, and you are proud. So when you said about that you will learn to love being alone, you will probably feel lonely when you do the traveling alone for the first time, and some of the journey you will be alone, right? And eventually, it has been said that it will be most liberating. It will be most liberating experiences when you do realize you are totally comfortable with it, right? And you can learn a foreign language or two. Especially if you go to Italy or some parts of Europe and some parts of Asia, you will pick up some languages, especially if you were there for a week or two and then you're hearing the same language over and over. You will learn that you can pick that up, and also the body language. So it's pretty exciting what you will learn when you were there. And you get to taste cultural food, local food, street food. Who likes street food? I do. When I was in Philippines, we did that. I do miss those street food that they have in on the street. Of course, that's why they call it street food. It's really good and very tasty, and there's some other weird things in there that you will see in the street food, but just stay away with it. That's the thing, when you're not familiar. Let's say you go in different place and you're not familiar with it. Don't be very careful too when you eat, because sometimes your stomach is not used to it. So be mindful what you will eat. But fortunately, my body is tolerable on those street food. I could take some of them, but not all of them. Okay, and you got to unplug and reflect. Especially if your phone's not working somewhere, and then they'll force you to unplug and just enjoy the view, enjoy the things that you have in front of you. And that's a good thing, right? To be linked to be yourself again and reflect on it. And finally, your life, your opinion. So let me explore a little bit more on this last one, your life, your opinion, when you do travel solo. Let me explore that a little bit more, because this is very important. So let me take a pause here for a minute and let me explore this, your life, your opinion. So when you do start to travel, you will have experienced life outside of your little town or in your comfort home. And in your hometown, you probably have talked to the same 10 people all your life, and they now influence you in many ways with their opinions and views. However, if they are not explorer, if they are not explorer themselves and have not learned anything for past years or even past decades, then their opinions and views is probably outdated. We are living in this world that changes constantly. Changes occurs constantly and quickly. You will fall behind if you don't explore and learn new things. This is why, as part of your growth journey, you need to be a lifetime learner. Let me repeat that again. As part of your growth journey, you need to be a lifetime learner, because everything changes. If you don't explore, if you don't learn new things and all of that, you will fall behind. But once you start to experience life outside of your home, you will start formulating your own opinion. And it expands your thoughts and ideas and your dreams when you do that. And you no longer influenced by other people's opinions and view. And that's very powerful. Very powerful. If you were to ask me, what is the most important life lesson that you can learn when traveling alone? And I think this is it. Forget about everything else, even if there are 100+ lessons or reasons as to why you need to experience at least once in your lifetime to travel solo. I think this is the one, that your life, your opinion. Again, when you start to experience life outside of your home, you will start formulating your own opinions. It expands your thoughts, ideas, and dreams, and you no longer influenced by other people's opinions and views, because guess what? You are more up to date than other people, because other people, they're not exploring, especially those not exploring. They don't really go anywhere. They don't really experience life outside of those little town with 2 bars in just across the state. That's it, in a small town. You can't really learn from it. But take the lessons from other people who've been exposed to and traveling more and experience life more, and they have more updated experience. So right now, I think we need to be more open. We need to be more a lifetime learner, because, like I said, our world is changing quickly and constantly. If you are not if you are not improving it, your mind is still in a back burner, still in the industrial age. As you can see, sometimes people talk and you wonder why they're talking like that, why they're thinking like that. It feels like they are still living in the industry or in an industrial age, that they need to be upgrade. So that's a part of it, your life and your opinion. So when you experience something, you will formulate more your own opinion, and you're not going to be influenced by any other, because you have your own. You have opinions and views and perspective and thoughts and ideas, and you become creative, right? So because here's the truth. This is the truth, okay? Many people doesn't know how to think. Okay? Many people doesn't know how to think, and you know and it's hard, to comprehend sometimes for those people. And they are so quick to make up their opinion without even thinking it through, as if it were the truth. And the funny thing is, a lot of people follows it. And it's also difficult, especially how we have, so many things that are floating around everywhere we go, even in social media, the news or whatnot. But how, to think, think really hard, and not a lot of people doing it right now. To think really hard if those were the truth, and incorporate those with your life experiences that you have, and based on the things that you've learned outside of your little hometown, then you are better off that way. And you can then start to make the right choices and the right decisions. Okay? And my final thought on this topic, and the most exciting part, is when you do travel, you are blessed. You are blessed that you got a chance or witness how other people truly live their life. And when you observe them long enough, you can learn something on how to live a life in a different way, and to do the best, based on what you have and the available resources that are available to you. And to me, I was truly blessed that I grew up with nothing, with very limited resource. So I was able to appreciate more of what I have today. And you know what? You know what's funny though? I travel to places now where people have so much, or in more developed countries or cities. Why? Because I already experienced how to live in poverty and live with nothing, right? And live and breathe. I live and breathe with it when I'm growing up. So now I go to places where I am more developed people to go to. So I get to experience it, and experience it and see what it's like to have everything. Not everything, of course, but the means, the necessities and beyond that. So now I was exposed to both worlds. But there are so many more to learn and to explore, and you should too. So don't stop where you at right now, what you're experiencing right now. Keep exploring, and we are born to explore this world anyway. So today, think about where you would like to go next, and what would you like to learn and experience. That's the thing, you gotta have an objective to it. What would you like to learn and experience that you have never experienced before? And and also remember that life is meant to explore, and not being stuck in one place. Okay, this is why a lot of people are not happy, because they do not explore more. And this is why many people do not create their own thoughts and ideas, because they have never explored it as well. And ignorance. Ignorance is the cause of many problems that can be resolved if they only knew how to think and explore their life more. So I hope this had helped you in many ways, and I hope you are now start thinking about to travel alone, or although if you want to bring other people with you for various reasons, it could be because of your health conditions and whatnot, and feel free to to do so. Feel free to bring them with you, and travel with them. But make sure you have plenty of time. Make sure you have plenty of time of solitude and reflection when you do travel, and and explore it more and learn. And again, learn and explore and experience life more and formulate your own opinions and views, so you do not be influenced by others, so you have your own. And those are important. Okay, so with that, always remember, if you don't invest in your own personal growth, no one will. Have a safe and have a great experience in your trip, and take care and be well.